Welcome to General Admission. Today is December 1st, November 31st, December
December
1st,
1st.
December 1st. There's a rhyme for that I do
30
not know.
days have November, April, June, and November.
Nailed it. It is December 1st, the most wonderful time of the year because Spotify Wrapped is out. Hooray. Stats.
Which I don't know why it's dropping on November 30th. Not to sound like old man yelling at a cloud, but like there's a whole other month that we could be doing listening that could change our whole year.
It's true.
So when why not wait till January or 12/31?
I'm glad it came out when I did because it kept Taylor out of my top five because she's definitely making moves.
Yeah, I think it kept Taylor and Nickelback out of my top 101 songs.
So it sounds like I don't know. I won't say it did you a favor because those are both great albums, which we'll get to.
Instead, I have Spotify trying to sell me on Nickelback merch instead. So
You have to buy it.
there's that.
There's been well, I guess we get to this later, but I keep seeing a lot of artists just being like pissed off about money. Like from streaming costs to like venues taking cuts of merch, all these different things.
I didn't know venues could do that. I thought merch went 100% to the artist.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. So now it's like just buy from the artist site. Like it's just I don't know. People have been fired up, but I think we just live in contentious times and everyone's kind of fired up about
And we're
everything.
just mad all the time.
Yeah, we don't talk politics on this podcast. But Wrapped is out
A month early.
a month early.
Not mad, but
I want to say off the bat, I love Wrapped and I love seeing people's Wrapped.
I do too.
I think it's a lot of fun. There's so much stuff to look at all the time. Like if for like a few days it's all just music artists, like that's fun.
Do you think it's accurate though? It has to be, right? Or
Well, it said our podcast only had 33 episodes and we've done 34. This will be
mm,
35. So I'm now questioning everything.
they're
I think
missing
it's
some in there.
I think it's pretty accurate though. Like I learned from this how long this year has been because Pup was my top artist and I haven't really
Really?
yeah, I haven't listened to Pup in months.
Did you go like ham in the lead up to the concert?
I yes, but it yeah, I just got really hooked on them leading up to the concert and after the concert. So there was definitely like a good 4 months. Like my most listened to Pup wasn't even their new album. It was Morbid Stuff.
That might be the best one though. So
It's definitely my favorite. I mean, new album was great. But Morbid Stuff's definitely my favorite. But yeah, Pup was my most played, but then there were no Pup in my top five songs.
so does
Ain't
it work on like aggregate?
ain't that some shit? Well, I think overall combined, I listened to more Pup songs, but individually, I listened to my top five more than I listened to any one Pup song.
That's fair.
Yeah. Who was your top artist?
So this podcast, I think, heavily influenced who my top artist is because I could have sworn it was going to be Fish because I went really deep down that hole when I first started to get into them, but it was actually Weezer. So I think it's
Wow.
because each time we do a seasons listen, I just deep dive into everything. And like, of course, I go into Blue Album, Pinkerton, uh, Green Album, Maladroit. I always do that whenever we fire up one of these EPs. I always go into the
Wow.
backlog to do some more research, and apparently it influenced my entire rap for the year.
Parco will be so proud. That goes to
I
say
asked
something
him,
though.
I was like, "Was this in your top five too?" And he's like, "Hell no."
He's the best kind of Weezer fan. I I think there's something to that though. Like because when artists put out new stuff, whether I like or dislike it, it makes me then listen to their old stuff.
Yep, puts you
So
in the
for
mood.
Spotify or for Weezer to release new music quarterly and have this effect on your listening habits, pretty interesting.
Yep, because then we have
Maybe,
Parko on. He's like, "Oh, I didn't hate Hurley." I'm like, "Oh, let me put Hurley back
yeah.
on," and then like, or Death to False Metal, and then like next thing you know, they're far and away my top artist of the year. But none of their songs are in the top five too, so it's
Ah,
similar boat as you.
oh. So what was your most listened to song?
So I couldn't believe what it was, but it makes sense with how much I listened to this. But it was "Meet Me at the Spot," which is the Anxiety, which is like Willow and what's his name, Tyler Carter, I want to say.
I don't even know this song. I don't think we've talked about this song on the
No,
podcast. Maybe.
it's all right. Tyler Carter, Tyler Cole. Sorry,
Oh,
I should know that as my most listened
yeah, your
song.
most listened.
It's just
Yeah.
it's very catchy, and it's one that got stuck in a repeat loop many times this year.
Is it off a Willow album? Is it just a random single?
So they did like a team up album, and they call themselves like the Anxiety.
Oh,
Like, it's not even from this year. It's from I want to say 2020. Yep,
interesting.
March 13th, 2020.
That's cool. A song not from this year. You just like fell in love with and listened to a ton.
Fun fact: I first heard it on 92.3 before it went away.
R.I.P. That's cool.
What was yours
Um,
though?
Mine was 32 by Cold Years.
That was in my top five.
Because I have put on that album so many times and then don't get through it just because I'm not driving for the duration of the album. So my top three were the top three off that album,
Your
which
top three songs.
which plays. Yeah. It or actually no, Jane snuck in there. It was 32, Jane, Britain is Dead. But I have a like a caveat to my stats because when I try to learn a song on my guitar, I literally listen to it on repeat for like hours because the easiest way to sing and play a song is to know the song so well that you can do either without thinking about it. So I also have Forfeit by Rise Against in here because I
Gonna
did
learn
that
it.
strategy for that song.
It's
It
funny how rap works because like it doesn't account for like if you listen to vinyl or if you listen to like a CD. Like there's a lot of like gaps in your listening for the year, but this only captures like a screenshot of it, if you will.
yeah, we need Spotify to start
Creeping on
selling
our phone.
selling record players and then stealing our data from them.
They might. I wouldn't put it past them to like start selling record players.
No, I mean
It
there's
makes more sense than
something
the
in there.
car thing.
Then if you stream an artist enough, they offer you a discount on the vinyl. Boom. Spotify hire me.
They should definitely sponsor the
And the
podcast now.
artist will get none of the money. Boom. That's the key part to
That's
get
their
hired.
model. So
Yeah, because um oh, and then
wait, so it's
my
Cold Years your number two?
number two artist.
Yeah,
Yes, it was
that
Pup,
was mine as well.
Cold Years, Rise Against, Jawbreaker, Youngblood. This is the first year in 2 years that Youngblood has not been number one.
He was number one the last 2 years for you.
Yeah, I believe so. And no front bottoms this year, which hasn't happened in like a decade. Front bottoms are usually all over my Wrapped.
Wow.
Yeah, they
They
got
didn't make
released.
mine this year either. The Menzingers actually dropped out last year and didn't make it in again this year, which is
I mean,
rare.
neither has put out like a ton of music, so like
2019.
recently rather. Yeah, but it's also skewed because so I have this song Accident Prone by Jawbreaker as number four. Great song,
Great song.
great album. And I was like super hooked on that album after we read Dan Ozzi's book, which would have been a book club book if we were doing the pod at the
Yep.
time. I would totally read it again, by the way. But I digress. This song, Spotify insisted on playing after every single album I listened to. This song would come on. to the point that it made me turn off autoplay because I couldn't take it anymore. It was making me hate a song I liked by
Oh, I shut
forcing
that
it
off a
down my
long time
throat.
ago.
Yeah. I'm so glad I did. Because sometimes it's kind of like the same thing with movies. Like an album or a movie ends or like a really intense TV episode. And you want to kind of just sit there and like take it in and think about it. And instead, what these streaming services like to do is throw the next thing right in your face because they don't want you to leave.
Yep. Which
And
is really annoying.
it is really annoying. Let me watch the credits. Let me roll the credits of the album in my head after I finish an album. So, yeah, I think that song definitely got skewed, but great song. Great
Definitely
song.
a great song. Jawbreaker actually made my top five too. They're my number five artist.
Oh,
Again, from
nice.
that book because I went way down that rabbit hole again.
I gotta find the Jawbreaker post because they're the ones that were they posted they posted what looks like you saw the festival Spotify lineup that was going around. You put in your login and it makes a curated festival of
I was gonna
everything you
text you
listen
about
to.
that until Wrapped came out, and then I was like, we'll just do Wrapped instead.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I did it, and I'm sure I like gave all my information from my entire life to some dude, but whatever. I got a cool picture for like 3 seconds. But so Jawbreaker posts reality check fest. So it looks like Spotify's the first, and it said Spotify pays artists, and it's all like spaced out like a lineup, but I'm just gonna read it
But they
normally.
posted this.
Yeah, it says Spotify pays artists 0.003 to 0.005 per stream. On average, that's like $4 per 1,000 streams. While their execs, that's the day two headliner, make 6 to 7 figure incomes averaging in the mid 200,000s a year and 115 an hour. Then the third day, to actually support your favorite artist, buy their music from their website or at a record store, and you will be making a huge difference.
They're not wrong.
They're not wrong. And
But this is also how music is accessed in 2022.
exactly. And they have the little thing like, while we appreciate all of your ears and like love to see the shout outs, da 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 da, like here. And it is a double-edged sword because it's easy for us to say they should be glad that they have so many fans and people listening to them however they can. But then on the other side of the coin, this is their well-being, and I can see how they could be kind of salty about it when it's like all these people are making more money off our music than we are.
Which I'd be pissed too if I was in that band.
Yeah. And it all just kind of like depends where you fall with all this stuff. Like, I don't know. I I'm all for like fair wages and stuff, but like I feel like Spotify execs making 6 figures like isn't that crazy. They're running like a major company.
Yeah. And
But
they're dishing out like $1 million or $1 billion like podcast deals or whatever
yeah.
it is.
And I'm sure it's not that black and white. Like I get it, but I don't know. I don't have the answer. This is bigger than Spotify and that like you could put this same logic to anything. And if you applied it to fast food, I'd be like, screw the execs. Like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about? So I don't even know what I'm talking about. Welcome to the
Everything's
show.
a food chain.
Yeah, it is. I don't know. I do like we do buy vinyl when we can, but sometimes I'm not gonna feel bad for streaming on Spotify.
No.
And I think
It's a gateway. Like if I
yeah.
really like an album, like my vinyl rules, I have to like the entire album for me to buy
Hmm.
the vinyl. So I have
Yep.
to obviously listen to it first to see if I do. So
And I
it's
actually have Jawbreaker's album on vinyl, so
both of
there.
them. I mean, like,
No, I have the first one that I don't even really like listen to. I just saw it, bought it because I got excited. So I need to follow your rule, not like being stupid.
because then it
But
just sits there, right?
it's the one with like
Is it
one,
24 hour
two, three,
revenge therapy?
four, who's punk, what's the score? That song.
Oh, no, 24-hour revenge therapy.
Yeah, yeah,
Boxcar, that song.
yeah, yeah. But like I just really like that
Dear
one
you.
album. I'm sure I'd like their others, and I do like that one. I just don't like listen to it religiously like I did this. But we're on a tangent now.
I am curious how much that book helped them get more listens. Because like we both went down the rabbit hole. I can't imagine we were the only ones.
Yeah, it must have helped. Like maybe they should give some of those 0.004
To
pennies to
Ozzy.
Dan Ox. um yeah, there wasn't too many other takeaways for me. Um what was your total minutes listening?
So it was like roughly 25,000, which I thought was low because normally I feel like I'm in like the mid 30s. So I feel like I'm not doing my part this year. I didn't do my part this year.
Yeah, well, like you said, you listen to music other ways, and I don't know.
And now with Sirius in the car too, that kind of
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to say, like, for your Fish stats, Fish songs are so long that it probably was hard to like accurately compete.
that's true.
Because
Because like
like,
they came in at number 3. I was like, I could have sworn they were going to be the top artist.
oh, so they were still on there.
They were in there, but I
Yeah.
didn't. There was no world I saw where they weren't number 1 with how much I listened to them. But apparently, I listened to Weezer and Cold Ears more. So
Yeah, I wonder if it's total cumulative time or like songs listened to or a mix or what.
it must be time. But although time, you'd feel like Fish
Yeah, you
easily
get
runs
on like
away
a
with the
really
top.
like monster tweezer. You just like ride that out for like 40 minutes.
And like 40 different versions of it.
uh
And then to round out the top 5 were Rise Against and Jawbreaker.
nice. Nice. It's a nice eclectic mix, sort of. I guess we're all like kind of in the pop punk, punk rock.
Yep, pop punk was the number 1 genre again.
Yeah, same. Yeah, I had 31,000.
So at
And
least
then
you're still
like,
in the 30 club. I feel like a disappointment for not being in the 30 club.
was General Admission your top podcast?
I think it was just because like I only listened to 60 songs I explained the 90s through Spotify. I use
Uh
Apple for everything else.
yeah, I use a different app for all my podcasts for the most part. If I just want to do like a one-off episode or something, I use Spotify, but for things I subscribe to, I just use some app. But
I think you showed me that one.
yeah, because you can make playlists, so like that's kind of nice. But I always like run our episodes the morning they go live, just on mute, just to like make sure everything's going smooth and to get us those those numbies.
Got to get the
Every
numbies.
play counts. Tell your friends. Yeah, we got some stats for the podcast too, which was pretty cool. Um,
Those are fun to go through.
yeah, we have been streamed in 9 countries, which is wild.
Which blew my mind. I
Really
texted
good.
you. I really thought it was just gonna be U.S., UK because of cold years, and Canada just because like our Sum 41 talks and Simple Plan talks.
Yeah, I got if our Guatemala listener is listening, hit
Shout
us
out to
up.
you.
Yeah, that's awesome. Um, yeah, that was cool. It said we were in the top 10% most shared globally. I don't entirely know what that means, but
No,
it sounds cool. I'll be in the top 10%, be psyched about that. And then we were a top 10 podcast for 60 fans, top 5 for 38, and a number 1 for 12 fans. So if we're on your
all
rap,
right.
like I don't know, DM us a picture because that'd be pretty
I want
cool
to
to
see
see.
that. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. We'll send shirts if when we get them made. Definitely want to get some shirts made. That would be fun.
that would
Just
be
like
fun. I
I
like how
don't
you
want to
went right to when, not if.
yeah. I just like don't want to wear a shirt with my own face on it. So maybe you could think of something cooler.
I drink like out of a coffee mug with my face on it. I don't know if that's like the same thing or not, but or
It's
I
in
just
the
like
realm.
mugs maybe.
You got a mug with your mug on it.
My mug with my mug on it.
Uh yeah. So those are the podcast stats. Um had a little more Spotify news if we can just keep rolling on Spotify for a second. Um this morning I opened up Spotify. I don't even remember what I wanted to listen to. I think it was a podcast about World of Warcraft. Shout out Dragonflight expansion. Um but I saw like under my recently listened to, like basically it took up a third of the screen. So first third was like all the things you've recently been listening to. It's like podcasts, emo music, Christmas music, Nickelback. Um, and then under that was this large block, and it had like a picture of some dude like sitting up in a bed, and it said, "Picked for you, album." I'm gonna say Tinsky, but it's all caps and it's Tynsky. Tynesky? Tinsky?
Tinsky.
I don't know. Picked for you, Spotify Radar artist releases his debut EP. Listen now. Usually I just ignore this stuff, but I I think it was picked for you that might have got me. And
Hicked for you.
yes, picked for me. And I don't know, I was just curious. So like I clicked it, listen to a song, see how it goes. And I actually really liked it. It's like some 19-year-old singer-songwriter from Poland. Um, he was signed to the Spotify Radar thing. And basically they try to like push artists out there globally to people that they think might like it, as long as that person has never listened to them before, and they won't include like various artists or remixes. And yeah, I feel like it's kind of a cool program to like help like push random smaller artists instead
Kind
of
of
like
like
just having Drake at the top of your Spotify every day.
kind of like the Netflix algorithm. Like, oh, you watch this, you might like.
Yeah, but they deliberately do it with smaller artists because it's not like, oh, you like Blink, like
Here's some 41.
yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. So yeah, I don't know. Tinsky, pretty cool. It's like singer-songwriter, but then some songs kind of had like this dancey vibe. Others almost had like an island music feel, but like it was all at the base of almost like dude in his bedroom with a guitar. Uh, I might go back to it. It was nice, like early morning listening on a rainy day.
Ease you into your day.
Yeah, but I was just more interested in like this Spotify radar, like because we get the playlists and all that, but this was way more in your face and like
But for a good
specific.
cause, apparently. So
Yeah, hopefully he gets big enough that he can complain about how much money he's making from them.
that's the dream.
Let it go. Look, I even have this Jawbreaker box of picks that I got at their show. Come
That's a
on,
box.
guys. Yeah, it's a little slidey thing, and there's guitar
Oh,
picks
that's pretty
inside.
cool.
Yeah.
It looked like it was just perfectly flat on the screen.
No. Follow us on YouTube to see this sweet Jawbreaker pick box. Uh yeah, crazy, crazy news from Spotify, keeping us all busy. Either way, they bring us music, so it's cool.
I do look forward to these raps every year. Though, so like, not to
Yeah.
lie, but
Yeah, it's
not gonna lie, I should say.
what else in your life would you like a Wrapped for?
Probably like a, I don't know if it's like Netflix or HBO, or if like the Fire Stick could do it as a whole. Be like, oh, here's what you watched this year.
Oh, that'd be
That'd be
cool.
pretty cool.
New Girl would dominate for me. We won't talk about TV too long. That would be cool.
But or
I'd like it for
I
like
don't know if there's one that could do food.
yeah, that's
Like,
what I was gonna
here's what you
say.
ate.
I want it for snacks. Like I want to know the number of Cheez-Its consumed in 2022. And then
Gotta
I want to
yell at
be
our brains to do that.
yeah, and then it'll help get me to the gym in 2023. What is your protein drink to Cheez-It ratio? Not good. Metallica put out a single.
They did. What a transition there.
Well, you see,
Speaking of people hating music online,
I had to just reel us back in. Um, Lux Æterna.
with the Tool Enema
Yeah,
AE thing,
with the AE thing. What is that AE thing? Is it like a European thing? Or is it just like a weird
that's a good question.
What is the AE? Oh,
Because for years I could never tell if I was pronouncing that Tool album the right way.
yeah, I feel like that was what they were going for.
Yeah,
Like they wanted you to be saying enema.
Enema.
Tool and Blink have a lot in common.
They do.
Um, so AE is a character formed from the letters A and E. Whoa, contain your
Like the
excitement.
TV channel.
Um, it's originally Latin. Um, it has been promoted to the status of letter in some languages, including Danish, Norwegian, Icelandic, and something else that I can't pronounce. Faros. Let's go with that. Um, yeah, I don't know what else. It doesn't really say how to pronounce it. Oh,
I
traditional
got that
name.
just from how Hetfield was singing it.
Yeah. I love a good song where they just like shout the name of the song in the chorus. I think
So
that's a real
Metallica is good at. So
they are good at that. I I liked it. What were your first impressions?
I enjoyed it. It was a lot shorter than like you might expect a Metallica song to be, but
Yes.
I'll take it
That
over
was
like a 9 minute epic.
that was the first thing I looked at was the time. And I'm like, 3.5 minutes.
Yep,
Yes.
because when you sent me to it, I was like, oh boy, I gotta like clear my schedule now to listen to
Yeah.
a song. But
It really feels that way. But no, this is nice 3.5 minutes, and it was a fast 3.5 minutes,
I
which
enjoyed like
is
most like compared to some of the new stuff they put out recently, like I really like this song.
yeah,
Maybe the last time I liked a song like this was probably like the Death Magnetic
yeah. Was it Day That Never Comes? I think
Day
was
That
on
Never
that.
Comes. Yep.
Yeah,
I
that was a
listened to that
great one.
single like nonstop when it came
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, I think that was the last Metallica album that I like remember enjoying.
Yeah, I can't tell you what the last one sounded like. I just remember it was really long and I just couldn't get into it because the album was that long,
Was
which
that
I
the
will get the
one?
name. It's like where all their faces are on the cover.
Isn't it like Lulu or something? Wasn't
But
there
that one
one?
was just bad. That was with Lou Reed.
Uh, album was just bad.
Hardwired to Self Destruct.
Was that the one they did the documentary for? Wasn't one of the documentaries them attempting to like make an album?
Oh, Saint Anger, which is also like considered one of their worst.
That's the
But
infamous snare drum, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
the unforgettable snare drum.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like the song. Like I think it was like super thrashy, which was cool. It's like pretty punk for Metallica. Like I mean they have that side to them, like Battery and like things like that. But
but for them to still be doing this in 2022, like
dude,
all the
right?
props to them.
They're like a 40-year-old band.
Yeah,
And
and to
this,
still rock this hard.
yeah, I if this song came on, I would not change it.
No,
Yeah.
and I'm pretty sure the music video, like Kirk Hammett, the guitarist, mimicked the Stranger Things like solo posturing.
Oh, so there was like they were in like a room and there was just different shots of them like in this room and during the solo he was standing on top of something. It was kind of like his
And he was
silhouette.
upright, and it kind of
Yeah.
looked like the show.
I
So
think he dressed as Eddie for Halloween, right? That
I
was the
think
picture
so.
was going around. Um, wonder how many kids are like, this is the band from Stranger Things. This is kind of
I'm
cool.
sure a lot.
Let's go see them on tour.
They're a band I've never seen before, and I would like to see them on this tour, but with everything that's been going on lately, I'm just terrified to even try.
Yeah. It's far enough away that we could just like pretend it's an option. And then who knows? By then, like the Swifties might have burned Ticketmaster to the ground. So
It's true. But to see them and Pantera at the same show, that it's kind of a tough one to pass up.
yeah, that's really sick.
Yeah.
Really sick. And I love that they're bringing out like so it's the one night's Pantera and Wolfgang Van Halen. Like his that's his son. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. They're also very good.
Yeah, I saw him somewhere. I don't remember.
They played the Foo Fighters tribute shows,
Oh,
or
that's
he
right.
did, I should say. He played like Hot for Teacher, and it
Yeah.
was sounded just like Van Halen.
Yeah, that was sick. I feel like I saw him at a festival, but I don't know.
Oh, he
Um,
was at the one I think you were at.
the Florida one,
I think so.
fucking festival. But yeah, Pantera. Wolfgang. And then the second night is Five Finger Death Punch and Ice Nine Kills. And then for the European leg, it's Architects over Pantera, which like I love that like they're taking out these metalcore bands.
That is pretty cool.
Like think how many bands would just kill to tour with Metallica. The amount that's going to do for their careers is nuts. And I bet Metallica's looking at it like, well, I was going to say Metallica might gain some like maybe younger fans who know these other bands, but that's a big show to commit to if you don't like know Metallica.
Yeah, because I'm sure it's going to be I like how they have like a day off in between the two sets too. It's like they need a recovery day from
I
like how
didn't
big the
notice
show
that.
is going to be.
It's like a Friday, Sunday.
It's like August 4th, East Rutherford, then August 6th. So like the
Wow.
5th, they're just off. I
They
guess you
need,
need that now when you've been a band for like 40 years, though.
yeah, they need to like get like those nutrients like fed into them like a night after drinking. Like
I mean,
which might be exactly that.
yeah, because they've been going hard since like the late 70s, early 80s. So I can only imagine what their
Yeah,
bodies are like now.
yeah. Just imagine their bodies.
Definitely came out weirder than I expected, but
uh, it's cool though. It's a cool song. I it just seems like fun and
they're having fun still, which is awesome.
not like they're like trying to make Metallica songs. Did the solo remind you of one?
A little bit
Right? But then it's like not I'm not even saying that like in a bad way. And then I was
like the
thinking it
climb down
probably
almost, or whatever that's called.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was like it probably reminds me of a lot of Metallica solos because it's a Metallica solo. But
A lot of them do sound the same, but
yeah,
they're obviously not the same. But
like that. All right, I'll stop. Oh, yeah, Lux Æterna. And then the song, like you think it ends, and then they're just like, "Nah, we're not done." They just
it
go
kicks
right
back
back into
in.
the riff. I love that.
But it's cool. We're gonna have the full album April 23rd. No, April 14th
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
or 21st. I might be just making up dates here, but there's definitely
April,
an album coming with this.
April of next year, which isn't that far away.
So we'll have new Metallica for the first time since 2016, new Blink, new Paramore. It's gonna be a good year next
Yes.
year.
Uh,
Hopefully,
soon.
some new Menzingers.
Yeah. Hopefully we get
Gaslight Anthem.
all these artists on the show to
That'd
talk
be
about it.
nice.
That'd be sweet.
We're trying.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We're always firing emails off. Um Speaking of bands we fired emails off too. There's a new Nickelback album out.
That you were definitely sober for when you sent that email out.
Oh my god, I was not.
I saw your subject line. I was like, oh God, they're not going to answer us.
Was that the I made that the sub? No. Oh god, I'll check after.
It wasn't even like interview request. It was just like a quote from the album, I think.
Oh, I thought I put that in the body.
No, that was the
Uh
subject line.
I said it's high time Nickelback and general admission get rolling. I don't remember what I was doing that night, but I was definitely drinking.
I was trying. I was like, no, no, wait till Monday. You're like, I already sent it. I was like, all right.
It it was Thanksgiving Eve.
That was it. Yep.
Uh, it just goes to show what kind of mood this album can put you in. It's a
it's
great.
that it's that good, surprisingly. I don't even know if I should say surprisingly, because like I feel like I've just come to appreciate Nickelback again, like I haven't in pretty much a decade.
I think the memes took over pretty hard because the more I listen to this, the more I'm just like, there's a lot of other bands I like that do the same thing. It's like good riffs, good rock music, no like life-changing lyrics, but sometimes you get a few that like hit you the right way. You got your slow songs, you got your heavy songs, couple country songs.
They do throw
And,
that in every once in a while.
and then they have this like middle ground between gentle and heavy that I'm not even entirely sure what to call it.
I'm
But
not sure either, but I know what you mean.
yeah, because like the first two songs are definitely heavy, and then like Vegas Bomb, heavy.
Really like Vegas Bomb.
Yeah, yeah. I That song just makes me wanna like when the chorus hits, like I just start grinning and like bobbing my head.
That's what their music does. Like after like spent some time with the Live at Red Rocks album. It's like an hour and a half, and it's pretty much like a greatest hits, just like live. And like we went to go see one of Sandra's friends over the weekend, and we put that on the way up. And like even she was enjoying most of it, although some songs might not have aged well in 2022. I had to skip one of them in particular because Sandra was feeling a little
Animals?
uncomfortable by the lyrics. It wasn't Animals, believe it or not.
No, Animals is like skirts the line
It
just
does,
like
but
playfully enough, I guess.
Figured
Maybe.
You Out is worse though.
Uh I
It's like
I
I
can't
like
think
the
of
white
it.
stains. I like the white stains on your dress. It sounds like,
Yikes.
can you change the song? I was like,
This is gross.
that's literally what she said.
Yeah, they have those like we kind of talked a little about it last week, but like San Quentin's just like one of those just
I
like
love San Quentin
kind of
though.
fun. Oh, that brings me to a point. We really need is it David Draymond of Disturbed? The
The
lead
singer,
singer. Yeah. After the second San Quentin, I need a oh really bad in that song.
a grunt,
Just just
a
the I
disturbed
need
grunt.
him coming in with the it would fit so perfectly. I just do it myself, but a nice Disturbed Nickelback mashup is what we really need in
I'm
2026.
shocked they haven't toured, but I guess like different audiences probably.
Eh, I don't know
Disturbed
how
doesn't really
different.
have ballads like Nickelback unless it's like the cover of The Sound of Silence.
Yeah. Uh Skinny Little Missy is just straight up strip club song.
It is definitely a strip club song.
1,000%. Like just
Even like
like
the riff feels like it walked right out of a strip club.
yeah.
If
Yeah.
that
Like
makes any sense at all. That's just like how I envision it in my head.
you finish listening to that song, and if you look down at your shirt, there's just glitter on it. There's glitter and like stale cigarette smoke. And your wife's like, "Where were you?" And you're like, "No, no, I was just listening to Nickelback in the car." But then they turn around with Those Days and play like this nostalgic trip of a song that just makes you feel nice. And I know it's like Photograph Part 2 almost, but I don't even care. Like,
It's definitely a sequel to that song.
yeah, it's just a nice, like, nostalgic song about them talking about like being kids. And I don't know. They don't have to reinvent music.
No,
Like, it worked once
do what you're
and
good at
it works
this
again.
point.
And like, I hear these nostalgic songs because like a lot of bands do it. Like, who was it this year? Was it Lit that had a nostalgia song? Um,
Bowling for Soup.
Bowling for Soup. Like, I kind of want to roll my eyes at times, but like, why?
That's where we are
Like,
now. So like we're suckers for nostalgia.
yeah, and I don't know. Like these bands have been around a long time, so to just hear them talking about like being kids and doing dumb shit, like stealing shirts from the mall and getting high at Guns N' Roses concerts, like I don't know. It's fun, and I like that they can go from a strip club song to that, and it doesn't feel forced or out of place. Like, yeah,
It's hard to
I don't
pull
know.
off, and I feel like they're one of the few bands that can actually do it.
Yeah, and then they go into a country song about smoking weed. So they go from strip club to nostalgia to a country song about smoking weed.
To San Quentin.
Yeah, all starts with San Quentin. But yeah, it was just I don't know. I first listened to Nickelback in middle school, like fifth
I
grade. So
think before that, like how you remind me was like when I was 11, 10 or 11.
yeah, I think that's fifth grade, right? I don't know. Was for
Oh,
me.
you might be right. Yeah. Our middle
But
school started with 7th grade, so that's probably why I'm
oh,
thrown off.
yeah, we did 5 through 8.
Ah,
But
good old Jersey. It's all different everywhere.
yeah. But like I think it was Horizon on this album. Just the melody where he's like, how long is too long? Like just the way he sang it just took me back to like feeling like I was 10 or 11 again. And I've talked about it a ton on this podcast, but any song that can make me feel that way, I'm gonna like because it's few and far between. And I forgot that this band could do that for me because it's been so long since I've like listened to them.
And like you said, they have like that not cool factor to them now. But as we discussed like earlier in the year, like I think we're just that's just like a wrong take.
Yeah,
They actually are good when you get down into the weeds into their music.
it was just memes. And like I remember seeing these quotes from Dave Grohl like knocking Nickelback. So I looked it up. It was just like a Twitter account with like his name from years ago. But they've been shared so much that like I think people or just me thought it was him. But I was like, it seems out of place for him to like knock a band. And I gotta go out on a limb here for a second. And this might be an absurd take, but are Nickelback and Foo Fighters like that different musically? Like it's like riff rock with like lighthearted lyrics and like cool solos. Like I'm not saying one's better or worse than the other, but I feel like they live in the same kind of like universe.
Musically, yes. Lyrically, no.
Okay.
Be my take there. I feel like Nickelback's lyrics are like very bare bones and simple.
Yeah.
And Foo Fighters, you kind of have to read into at times. Like they're not like openly like, oh, I'm hanging out, drinking a beer,
Yeah.
pretending I want to be a rock star. It's like,
Yeah, there's more depth.
yeah,
Yeah, I could see that.
it's like I
Just
should have known about what. Like, who is this song about? Is this about Kurt? Is this about when you were in Nirvana? Like, what is this song? Like,
yeah.
Nickelback doesn't really have song. Like, you know what the song is about when you listen to it. And Foo Fighters, you might actually have to read the lyrics
Yeah.
to kind of piece it all together.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess I was just kind of thinking like riff wise. Because
No, riff wise, definitely,
some of these
especially the
riffs are
drums
just
too.
sweet. Yeah, what song was it? I think it was Vegas Bomb, where the guitar was like doing this. It was like a groovy riff, so there was a lot of space in it, and then the drums would fill in the spaces, and they were just kind of like playing off each other, and it worked really well.
Like their drummer is very underrated. I remember like from back when I used to see them live, like he would have these insane solos like in the middle of their sets. He'd be like, "Oh my god, this is the drummer in Nickelback who plays like this."
Yeah, like they're all pretty talented. Like the guitar solos are great. Like
Bass.
yeah, I guess I didn't pay too much attention to the bass on this album. Now
I'm
I'm
thinking of
thinking
like
about it.
Animals. Like I love that bass
Oh
line
yeah,
in
true.
Animals.
Yeah. And then I like that the last track is called Just One More.
It was clever.
It's pretty funny. But yeah, this is like a great Friday after work, crack a beer, know that the weekend is ahead of you.
Shut your brain off.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very pleasantly surprised. I don't know what their previous albums have been like, but I feel like this just feels like one of those albums like is it Silver Side Up? They're like the one with How You Remind Me.
It's a really
That's
good
what
album.
yeah.
I had that on this morning. I've been
Yeah,
kind
me
of
too.
going back into their catalog, but I still have to listen to the last two to see if I do like their newer stuff or it's just this album.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even know. Like I'd be lying if I tried to like have a take
Yeah.
on it.
Because I unplugged from them probably in like 2011 when like Here and Now came out. I kind of went my separate ways, but now it feels good to kind of come back to them and like all the memories of like listening to them in high school came back. It was like a very like long nostalgic trip the past week, kind of diving back into this. But I'm
And
glad I did.
this album, I don't know if it's the time frame that it reminds me of or the type of music or a mix, but I couldn't help but feel sad that I didn't like Shinedown's album more. I don't know why I was thinking about them with this because I guess it's kind of the same kind of like hard rock area. And like I feel like Nickelback with this hit a nice pocket of their sound without just feeling like they're like remaking their sound. And then I feel like Shinedown tried to like go too big or something. I don't know. I'm just sad that album didn't hit
Yeah,
for me because I really wanted to like it.
I think like our biggest point with that was they were trying to make a political statement without making one, and that took so
Yeah.
much away from that album for me. So at least Nickelback is
Yeah.
like we're just here to have a good time and like think about the past and like write some silly songs too in between. And
Yeah.
Shinedown's like, oh, we're trying to be like the like high and mighty, and this is how you should think and not
Yeah.
think. And
Yeah.
at
True.
least that's
Which
my
like
takeaway on the Shinedown album, at least. But
yeah, and we get so much of that in just like normal life that you don't always want it in your music.
yeah, I mean, like I never complain when like Rise Against do it or like bands like that.
Yeah.
It's just like I don't know if maybe I just disagree with what
Yeah.
Shinedown believes in, but
I'd like to try and go back to that album at least once and either ignore the lyrics and just see how it feels instrumentally or just, listen to it, take the lyrics in again. But
that should be a January segment because January is like normally a slow time for releases. We should revisit albums like we hated to see if we still hate it.
yeah, yeah, that's a good idea. Because who knows? Like sometimes you just need to step away from things. And I'm sure like if we've been listening to Nickelback religiously the past decade, we might have different feelings on this album. I don't know. But it feels fresh to us, especially because it is fresh to us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like seeing an old friend after you haven't seen them in 10 years.
Yeah, right? Speaking of, I'm seeing Greg this weekend. Hasn't
Good
been
old
10
friend there.
years. Yeah, good old friend. All our listeners know who that is.
This is how you remind me of Greg.
uh what else we got? What else we got going on? There's not a ton. We have our book club and we had some sad news too today that just broke.
Guess we could do
Um
sad news now before the book, right?
yeah. So Christine McVie of Fleetwood Mac passed away at 79. Um I think it's just old age. I didn't hear anything else. First member of the band to go. Um, yeah, I mean, Fleetwood Mac is incredible. She was like a very key part of that. She wrote a lot of good songs. Uh, you sent me Songbird,
Everywhere was her.
Little Lies, Oh Daddy,
You make love and fun.
Don't Stop. Uh, yeah, I feel like she was a underrated member because people like you want to immediately think of like Stevie Nicks when you think of female vocals in that band, but
Even her background vocals were like spot on every time too.
yeah, I
Even
was
then
just
when they weren't like McVie songs.
yeah, I was listening to I was watching the video for Silver Springs because like how can you not watch that live performance? It's just like I get chills every time I watch that. It's just Stevie Nicks singing singing uh Lindsay and
Singing a song about him right at him.
yeah, and he's like playing his guitar at her. Like it's crazy. But Christine McVie is just doing backups in that too, chilling by the keyboard. And then I love like Mick Fleetwood's just having a great time on drums while like the whole band is falling apart around him.
Was McVie the one she was with Fleetwood
I
around
believe
rumors,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It was her.
And then they broke up, and then so it was just like an
Yeah.
album with people breaking up with each other,
Yeah,
writing songs about each other.
they broke up and I think they were more able to just like work together and ignore it. But then you had Stevie Nicks and what's Lindsay's last name?
Buckingham.
Thank you. Thank you.
And they're still
Um,
feuding to this day. So
yeah, because there's an album with Christine McVie and literally the entire rest of the band that Stevie Nicks isn't on, so it wasn't released under Fleetwood Mac. I just learned this like a few hours ago. So, but I heard it's like considered like just I don't know the 12th Fleetwood Mac album. I'm making up a number, but it's supposed to be pretty good. So, I'd like to check that out.
I'd love to read a book about that band. If there's like a definitive book out there, I feel like that'd be a good
Yeah,
post Storyteller book club book to do.
I listened to an incredible podcast leading driving back from See Here Now when I saw Stevie Nicks because I'm like, I want to know this story like for real.
The
And
rivalry episode, Rivals
was that it? Because I
podcast.
couldn't find it. I remember it had like interview clips like worked in and
Oh no,
like
it wasn't that one then. It was just Steve
it
Hyden talking about the drama in the band.
it was so good. It was a two-parter and it had interview clips worked in and like it really broke down everything. They even had their cocaine dealer as credited on their album as like just like I forget what it was, but like that's how like key he was. Like
Oh my god.
yeah, it was crazy. Like that story, I would love to find a book on that and read it because I can't find I was looking for this podcast today so I could credit it. And I listened to every podcast with Fleetwood Mac in the name on Spotify, and none of them were it. So I don't know what happened to this episode or if I was just like tripping from the show and like I never actually listened to
Like a fake
anything.
podcast episode happened in your head.
I just podcasted alone. I don't know, but yeah, that band has one hell of a story, and it's sad that we'll never get to see them because I was holding out hope that like
Lindsay would come back.
yeah, like it wasn't
We were too.
it felt realistic.
Because
So
Fleetwood Mac's like our go-to like Sunday morning, we're making breakfast
yeah,
playlist. Or just
same.
weekend in general. So like we were hoping to see them one day and now it's like it's not going to be the same if they still
Yeah,
do tour,
yeah,
which kind of sucks. Like that's why see your favorite bands when you can. I
yeah,
mean, I know that's harder to say now with ticket prices, but just keep in mind things like this could happen. So
yeah, because it happens all the time. Sadly, that's life. But I don't know. We'll still have our music, and that's a beautiful thing.
the saving grace here.
Is it book club time?
I think so.
The
I'm gonna
Storyteller.
grab the books. I can follow along with the parts to
Oh,
make sure I don't leave any out.
so part one of The
Do you want to give a
Storyteller by
Do you want
Dave
to start with
Grohl.
like a summary at the top, or just like kind of your overall thoughts on part one before
Uh,
getting into each
yeah, we
chapter,
could do
or what do
that.
you think?
We could do overall thoughts. What was part one called? Do you have it
I
in front
do.
of
It
you? Because
was setting the scene
setting the
appropriately.
scene. Um, I wanted to ask you off the bat a very book club type question, but it's one I've been thinking about, and it's gonna sound corny, but I stand by it. How did reading this book make you feel?
So I feel like this hasn't happened until recently, until we were reading like A Night in a Lonesome October, where like I'm sitting there with a big smile on my face and I'm just blowing through pages like it's no one's business. And that's how I felt reading this book. Like the way he writes and the stories he's telling, like I can't wait to see what happens next. And I'm just like beaming as like a big Foo Fighters fan, just like learning all this like information about him and like how he grew up. And we got the backstory of the broken leg, which we saw them on that tour. So like I
Yeah,
loved reading the night it happened, which is awesome. And I just can't wait to see what else he has in here.
yeah. That
Like
story
you can see
was
me
so
beaming now
cool.
talking about the
Yeah,
book, but
beaming, beaming.
what did you
Lower
think
your
though?
brightness if you're
I'm
watching on
sorry.
YouTube. Yeah, it's like who doesn't grow up dreaming of being a rock star or a pro athlete or something, and to like see it from someone as genuine as Dave Grohl and to know that like he did it it's insane.
It's
Like
extremely
it's
relatable
literally
too.
insane. Yeah, it puts me in that spot always of like work hard and follow your dreams and like who knows what'll happen and like this will never happen. Let's just read about Dave Grohl. But that's just I'm a little pessimistic with things. But like it's just wild he started off drumming on pillows.
Or the teeth. The teeth story is insane. Like you're drumming and like destroying your teeth, just like making beats with your mouth, like walking to school every day.
Wait, what? I don't remember that part.
Wait, did you not read the last part in part one? The John Bonham seance?
No, I thought that was part two.
No, that's the last one in part one.
Oh, I thought that was part two. I didn't read that.
Part two starts with "You'd better be good."
Oh shit. Wait, so what's the teeth story?
So, do you want me to tell you, or do you want me to just wait for part two?
No, it's part of it's part of part one. I'll read it tonight.
So part of it, like he's trying to like dial into, like he thinks there's something in the universe that made like John Bonham a great drummer. So he's like trying to do a seance to like get that energy into him. And so like he's talking about like how like he could never read music like because he never had lessons growing up and stuff. So like, but what he would do is he'd make different beats like using his mouth, like his jaw and his teeth, and like, he'd grind his teeth and like chomp on
Oh
his
my
teeth and make
God.
different drum beats. It's like he goes to like the dentist, and the dentist is like, "Do you chew ice cubes?" And he's like, "No, why?" He's like, "Because I've never seen this type of deterioration in like someone's mouth before." That's because he grinds his teeth so much, like doing different drum beats, and
Oh
like
my God.
he shows the dentist. He did like Tom like rushes Tom Sawyer with his mouth and his teeth, and the dentist is like, "Yeah, you need to kind of figure out a different way to do drum beats."
Have you tried beatboxing?
Yeah, have you tried just like using your hands on a table?
Oh my God. That's
It's
amazing.
a quick read though, so it's like an 8 page chapter which you can
Yeah.
loop into your part two reading. But
Yeah. I waited like till the last minute to read this just because I looked at it 2 weeks ago and I'm like, I'm gonna read this in 3 days and then I'm gonna have to wait. I can't
it's a
believe I didn't
really
finish that
quick
part.
read though. Like I'm surprised how fast these chapters go.
Yeah, it flies because it's broken up so nicely into these little stories and like the way he kind of flashes back and forward, like teaching his daughter drums versus like him learning.
That was a really nice story, the first one.
Yeah, yeah, that was so cool. I loved their their pre-show ritual where they
With the
like
Crown Royal.
yeah, they all like just do a shot and then he like what was it? Pre-show ritual, 3 Advils and 3 beers, and then a band prayer where we just stare into each other's eyes and do a shout of Crown Royal.
And
And
belly
then,
laugh.
yeah, he's like, I never do vocal warm-ups because my singing style is just screaming bloody fucking murder for
Yeah.
3 hours.
Which he literally does.
It's so true. The broken leg story was nuts. And there was a line in there that kind of broke my heart a little bit because this was obviously written like pre-Taylor. But he
And his
said like
mom too. His mom passing away.
that was after this as well.
Yeah.
Damn.
So it's like it's a little harder to read knowing that now, but as you're gonna get into, I think with the
Well, just this
Taylor
one
stuff.
quote, after he broke his leg and like how he wasn't planning on missing anything. He said, "This band was born from tragedy and heartbreak of
Yep.
our broken past
Hmm.
and was a celebration of love and life and the dedication to finding happiness in every next day. And now more than ever, it represented healing and survival." And
And now
like,
they have to do it all over again
yeah,
if they do go forward, which we still don't really know. I don't think.
uh, no, I don't think there's anything's been said, but yeah, that's just like a heavy quote, which he said well before more tragedy happened.
And then like Taylor
Yeah,
filled in for him like while he was like on the ground, like singing like Under Pressure and Cold
yeah,
Day in the Sun.
yeah. And then what was
The doctor,
the doctor?
Dr.
They're like,
Johan.
they're like, you got to go to the hospital and get a cast, and he's just like, he's like, how about you go to the hospital and get a cast, and I'm gonna go out there and play this show. And he's like, I need to hold your leg. He's like, then you're fucking coming with me.
And they get on stage and the doctor's having like the best time.
Yeah. He's like, oh, it turned out the doctor is also a musician, so like it wasn't as
He loved
special.
it.
Yeah. I want to get a list going. I have a list going actually, but we have to listen to them of just bands he mentions. We can do like the top 3 to 5 and just make a playlist. Because
Oh,
like
like Bad Brains and
yeah, Naked Ray
Naked
Gun
Ray
was
Gun was the big
one.
one in that chapter.
Scream, Germs, and Killing Joke were a few I wrote down.
I
So
think Killing Joke's like still around.
sounds familiar. I wonder like if I'll recognize anything from bands I think I don't know, but
That was a cool story. That like where like he's like getting all like the friends showing him all the different bands on vinyl, and then they go to
yeah,
a show that same night, and like he finally like feels like he belongs somewhere.
yeah. She like walked down the stairs and like her like punk rock get up and he's like something
That
awoke in me.
description was hilarious.
It's so good. He's like I
Was he
hear
like
the
like an
chains.
ashen or like a Viking going to battle?
Yeah. Yeah, it was great. Like um yeah, he just it's like he's been trying to do this his whole life without even like I don't want to say not trying because he definitely thought about it, but it just being able to like have recollection of all these little major events and like put them into stories like this. That's like a feat in itself.
And that's why like I can't wait to see like what else is in here because like there's so many stories I want to know, and I'm curious like if he's gonna get into them.
Yeah. Yeah, I had that same thought because like I'm already like he could do this whole book on like the Nirvana era alone.
I know.
And like I feel like we're not gonna get a whole lot of that. I don't know. It seems like he's going kind of chronologically, so it seemed weird to leave it out. But I just feel like he's always kind of like closed off about that time.
I know like from what Parko said, who read the book, he does touch on that a little bit in like the story you mentioned on a previous episode where like he talks about what it was like making music with Kurt.
Oh, cool.
So like that'll be a story in here. I won't
That's
spoil it
awesome.
again, but
Oh, I'm so excited for that. I mean, we might get it soon because it's definitely an
we're
earlier
getting there.
story.
Like I want like him getting Taylor in the band. I don't know if that's gonna be in here from like pulling him away from Alanis Morissette. I'd love to like hear that
Yeah.
story or read that story, I should say.
Yeah, because I could picture him with their first album being like, I didn't want to stop making music. I couldn't find a band, so I just said, fuck it, I'll do it all myself.
And that's the whole story.
Yeah,
Or kind of like their
it's written
songwriting, like
great.
how people say they make like the same album, like kind of his approach to songwriting would be cool to get
Yeah.
some insights into.
Yeah, I feel like he took that one to heart because then they did the documentary album where he like worked with all those different artists.
That was cool. I know
Was
people
it
hate on that album, but I like that
Sound
album.
City? What's it called?
That was the documentary. And then he did
Yeah.
Sonic Highways was
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
That's it. Yeah, he's just the man. He really is. Like it's a cliche at this point, but it's cliche for a reason. Like he's just the
He
man.
is. His upbringing was pretty cool. Like imagine going like with your mom, like hanging out like willingly every Sunday, like going to a jazz club and just having a great time.
I
But
wish.
also terrifyingly being on stage
Yeah, how she
with
just
like a
signed him up.
jazz legend
Yeah, that's and he was holding the sticks wrong.
upside down.
He's like, well, I figured the bigger side would make a louder noise, so that's what I did. It just goes to show too with that, like they didn't have like YouTube or like, and it's all like different, like whatever, but he didn't have that. So like he really had no way to know how to hold the sticks.
No.
Although like he didn't have a magazine. Come on, man.
But like in the chapter you didn't read yet, there's like he talks about like how he like when he hears things, he like sees it play out too. It's like he sees almost like blocks of different color when he hears music
Oh,
and they're
isn't
like
that
stacked
that's
on
called
top of each
like
other.
synesthesia or something
Yeah,
like that?
that's what he has. Yep.
Yeah,
It's like the
Justin
Queen's Gambit thing.
Justin Chancellor, the bass player for Tool, he has that.
That
Bass
must be
player,
really
guitar
cool to
player,
have. That's
bass
how you
player.
can bass player, right?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's I mean that's like a cheat code.
Yeah. It's like he couldn't read music, but he had that going at least.
Yeah. I'm sure that helps. a ton. That's cool. I didn't know he had that.
Got to
You
read
don't
that
really
chapter.
hear about that for like drum players either,
No,
because it's I don't I don't think there's like notes on drums. Like there's different things, but I don't know. I never played drums.
yeah, because he gets into like how John Bonham plays and like how like Led Zeppelin sound, like how like the drums just like spoke to him when he would listen to Led Zeppelin, and that's
Oh,
why
that's
like
awesome.
Bonham's still like one of his all time favorite drummers.
Can't believe I missed the chapter.
It was a good one. It was like really short, but like there was a lot of good information in there about him.
Nice. Well, I'll get to it for next episode or next meeting.
But we got 2 weeks till part two.
Yeah, you think that's the way to do it?
I
Or you
think
think,
so.
all right, gives people time, gives us time.
So I know I'm not the quickest reader. I'm sure some of our listeners aren't either.
Yeah, because I just want to like rip through this whole book.
Yeah, it's
It's
that good.
painful. But yeah, it's great. I love the little parts where it's the font changes to look like it's written
To
in
really make a
pen.
point.
Yeah, just like kind of gives you that like personal feel, which he's so good at. Even when he's on stage, he just makes you feel like he's talking to you. That's exactly how this book is.
Wants to give everyone a great show.
That's right. Leg or no broken leg.
I literally like lit up when that story was coming. I'm like, oh my god, he's gonna tell a story of when we saw them on tour because he
Sick.
literally was in that throne
Yeah.
at like City Field when we saw them
Yeah. The guitar throne just wheeling around.
moving like up and down the stage.
And it was still so good.
Still a great show.
Yeah, him and like when I saw Rage Against the Machine, he couldn't walk either and still brought the show. Like these guys are just born to do this and they don't need legs to do it. It helps, but
Just need their
they don't need
vocal
them.
cords.
I think that might do it. Um, what do we got going on next week? I know this is a wacky month.
It is a wacky month, so I don't even know if we have any more new releases left this year. I feel like everything that's being announced is for 2023.
Yeah,
And
wouldn't
we could start
surprise
to
me.
put together our end of the year awards, I guess. Since
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be a lot of fun. I think we should try and do that week before Christmas,
I think that
possibly.
works. It makes
Yeah,
sense.
because those last 2 weeks, we'll think of something. We won't go no episodes, but I think like a proper year-end episode before Christmas. This way, everyone can get to it, and because like Christmas, New Year's week, like who knows what the hell's going on.
Yeah, a lot of people are off and not really
A lot of people are going to
listening to
Madison Square
podcasts.
Garden to see Fish.
Hopefully,
I'm still checking every day. Still checking every day. I could get us
in the freezer,
side stage, behind stage for like 200,
in the freezer. Do
which is looking better and better every day.
you think they're gonna go down more?
No, no, I've kind of given up hope.
That's the floor, pretty much,
It sure feels that way, which I guess is like 30 to 50 higher than usual. So
with
it's not like
inflation this year.
crazy higher, but yeah, basically. But I don't know. You know, you're gonna have like your Aunt Brenda give you like $50 for Christmas, so put it towards the fish. We gotta
It's
see
towards
him.
Firenze.
We gotta see him. We'll get there. I'm still confident we'll get there. Oh,
If not, we're going
um,
to AC. Oh, the Bamboozle announcement. Is that what you're gonna say?
no. Why? There wasn't an announcement,
No,
right?
just that they officially kind of put out what we talked about last episode, and it looks like there's not many open slots left for them to announce other than like the major headliners.
Yeah,
But there's not a lot of real estate on that poster.
yeah. Well, we'll see. We gotta get a new announcement soon. I was gonna say, Taking Back Sunday next Friday. I kind of want to do that.
I can go either way. I feel like that's probably how most fans feel like since that's somehow not selling out.
It's just
They
been a
do.
while since I've seen them, and I love foxing. Like that would be cool too.
They're great live,
Yeah,
which is true.
it's
I'm
closer
shocked
for
that's
you
not sold
though.
out though.
How far is the pony from you? I mean, Starland.
No, a half hour.
It's nice. I would get a season pass if I were you.
If there was one I'd get a season pass for, it would be Starland because I do like dealing with Axis compared to Ticketmaster.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just itching for a show. I think that's it. This has been the longest gap I've gone in a while. Jonesing.
I'm just still coming down from 4 Year Strong, so I'm like, all right, that
Yeah,
scratched my itch.
yeah. I need to yell lyrics in a crowd soon, or my head's gonna explode.
There's no better feeling.
Yeah. On that note, hopefully my head doesn't explode, and we're back same time next week. We love you all. Fire up those Christmas playlists because winter is here.
We should probably do that soon on one of these episodes coming up.
Yeah, yeah.
Which, if anyone
Lots of
watched
Christmas songs.
the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, there's some good rock Christmas songs featured on that, so that you could put a nice little playlist together based off that.
Ooh,
Fun fact.
check that out. All right. That's our show. We love you all. We'll see you next week.
Wash your feet, bitch, drive with the